I love cartoons. They're such a great piece of entertainment, and there's so much you can do with them. However, for every good or great cartoon, there's about two or three that are just not very good, or in other cases, really bad. And today, we're counting them down in the top 15 worst cartoons of all time. Let's get started.
He's a tough puppy, he's a tough puppy.
This is Butch Hartman's third show that he created after The Fairly Odd Parents and Danny Phantom. It taps into the spy genre, which unfortunately it's played in such a dull way. It's not funny, like the humour falls flat. And Dudley is such an annoying character, especially when they have jokes about his butt. A lot of the times it gets really annoying. And he shouts a lot, which also is annoying. And oh my gosh, I can't even talk about it. It's just so annoying. This is Jerry Trainor's worst role by far. And it is the second worst Butch Hartman show. What's the first? Let's just say I'm not going to say it right now, but just you wait, it will pop up on this list. Just you wait. From a really funny, creative show to one that is just absolutely forgettable and comedically flatlining, seasons 6 to 7 of Spongebob are just a complete downgrade from the first few seasons of the show. Even seasons 4 to 5 are better than this, like a lot better. The characters became way flanderized during these two seasons, especially SpongeBob Patrick and Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob became way more energetic, naive, and just it's hard to say. He's just way full of energy, and Patrick just became way more stupid, and he became way more greedy and just not caring about other people's lives. I mean, look at One Course Meal, for crying out loud. The humour in a lot of these episodes is very sparse, and when it's there, it falls flat. And there's a lot of mean-spiritedness in episodes like Gone, One Course Meal, and especially the Squidward torture episodes. Though I will say it's low on this list because there are a good number of episodes that are actually pretty good in these seasons, whereas a lot of the shows up ahead just don't, like, there's barely any good episodes, so yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Fanboy Chumchum is such a really bad show. The main characters are just really hard to root for. They're either just unlikable or they're just really stupid that they just don't care about the plot. Your main characters are always your biggest deal. If they carry the plot and you're supposed to root for them, but they end up being not very likable or so stupid, then 99% of the time the plots and the episode itself will just absolutely fall flat. And speaking of the plots, they're not very good. A lot of it is just really stupid random events plot that don't really mean much in the end. The humor is also stupid, and yeah. However, the stylized CGI does very much work, and some of the characters are alright, which is why it's low on the list, but still, it's really not good.
Sidekick, what an awesome gig. Just like superheroes. All we have is Sidekick.
Sidekick does have an interesting premise in which there is a sidekick school, and these kids learn to be sidekicks to the superheroes, but unfortunately it wastes all of it on just bland plots, and it has a lot of unlikable or bland characters, and the world just really seems to love picking on Eric, even though he doesn't do anything to deserve the torture that he goes through. It's just not fun to watch. And yeah, this show sucks really hard. Camp Lazlo is such a boring show, and this is in great contrast with Rocco, which was a very fun, fast-paced show. This one is just a dull, slow-paced slog to sit through. It feels like it's trying so hard to be like Spongebob at times, especially with the main character Lazlo, who seems very optimistic and energetic. The other characters are bland as well, and not there's nothing to write home about. They are just really not. They're really one note, and a lot of the humor just drags on. So yeah, the show is really boring. Don't watch it.
They made a vow their mother will be found. Sonic Underground!
Sonic Underground is a very disrespectful show to the actual franchise. And the thing about it is that its premise is odd, but it could have worked, but it just falls flat on just plots are just not very interesting, and it has to really shoehorn in a song in every episode, and it tries to be dark and edgy, and it just fails. The animation is also really bad, even by Deke standards, and the lip syncing is also really not. It's not good, and this show is just not good. It's not good. It's not good.
Come and meet Joey and his misfit crew. They've always got a room for you. Almost naked animals.
Almost Naked Animals is the definition of cheap. It has cheap animation, it has cheap writing, and it has cheap jokes. That's all there is. There isn't much to say because everything about the show is just an utter train wreck. It's just a complete wash altogether. So yeah, it's just a definition of cheap. It's like they didn't care, and that's all there is. There isn't any more.
It's gonna get a little weird, gonna get a little wild. I ain't from round here, I'm from another dimension.
Seasons 3 of Star vs. the Forces of Evil are absolutely terrible. Like, the first season was decent, though not great. However, it did improve in the last few episodes of the season. Season 2 was a big improvement with more interesting plots and developed characters and an interesting storyline going on. The season 3 opening, the Battle of Muni, was actually very good for the most part and would have served as a nice season finale for a show. But it continued and it goes downhill. Like, it goes really downhill. The humor became absolutely slow, not funny, and obnoxious. At times, I kind of wonder if these were actual jokes. Because, there's no. The stories feel just not very interesting. A lot of the time, they feel empty and they drag a lot. It feels like the writers just didn't have enough. Like, the plot didn't have enough to service an 11-minute story, so they had to drag a lot of stuff during the episodes, and it's just a chore to watch. And like, there's a scene where Star and Moon derp around in the rainbow dimension. It's in the penultimate finale of season 3, and it just goes on for minutes. Like, it really should have been way less than that. Like, way less, and you wouldn't lose anything. Like, if it was like a minute, like, yeah, if it was like a minute or so, then yeah, you can cut it down and you would lose nothing of substance. And it feels like the writers clearly were making things up as they went along, as such, because like the finale, like the actual finale, like the last few episodes, like they weren't even planned out until towards the end of the production of season 4. Like you can't do that. You have to plan it. You have to plan the actual ending out at the start of a season, not towards the end, because it just makes things. It'll come up as a real jumbled up mess. And you know what? It did. Like like it comes down to the fact that Star decides to destroy magic because people have been using it wrongly. And it wasn't even built up properly to that point either. And also, the worst part about this is that there's no argument given to both sides on why destroying magic is good or not. It's completely one-sided on Star's part, and Star comes off as really unlikable and selfish. And oh man, it's not good. Like seasons 3 and 4 are just terrible, terrible, terrible.
Make him leave, cause I don't want his console be increased!
But I don't care. It's super cool that.
Bunson is a beast!
Bunson is a Beast is such a garbage fire. The humour is really obnoxious. Our main characters range from bland to just absolute annoyance, especially Bunson himself. And the main villain, Amanda, her schemes are so repetitive, like they get really old so fast, and they're not even interesting or funny. Ugh. Yeah, this show, it's Butch Hartman's worst show by far.